Hello everyone! Today I will give you as much information about Dual Universe as possible, and after watching this video you should have a clear picture on what Dual Universe is and whether it is a game for you or not. Keep in mind that all is subject to change, as Dual Universe at the moment is in second alpha testing stage and there is still NDA. So no game footage, no pictures, nothing from in-game can be released by players yet. First of all, while I was digging into all developer interviews and other information about the game, I decided to make a simple PDF to drop on my friends. It's called Things to Know About Dual Universe. You can see how it looks, and if you are interested to read a little bit more about Dual Universe, download the link you can find in the description for this video. Also, Noah Quark, developer behind Dual Universe, now is at Gamescom, and if you are planning to visit it, then definitely check them out. I bet most of you heard about Dual Universe, especially all my Elite Dangerous subscribers should have. But if you want to compare Dual Universe to Elite or Star Citizen, then I can tell you that it's same as comparing EVE Online with Call of Duty. Completely different games. And the biggest difference between Dual Universe and every game released to date is that there are no games that have what Dual Universe is aiming for, through single shard continuous world, where all players will play in the same universe at the same time. It's truly impressive what Dual Universe is aiming for, millions of players. It might sound insane and even impossible, but Noah Quark, developer behind Dual Universe, is quite confident in their new server technology called Continuous Single Shard Cluster, and that it can actually handle that many players. They had a successful test with 30,000 properly simulated game clients connected to their servers and several hundred players as witnesses on top of that. Also, I expect Noah Quark to showcase their server tech with a lot of players online at the same place during Gamescom. So if you are scratching your head now, it's fine, wait and see for yourself. They started to build the game from their own server tech, and obviously what we are witnessing now is just first steps. And there will be many more tests like that with more players and more action to stress test servers as player base grows and more game mechanics are being added. And speaking about game mechanics, most crucial should come in third alpha: combat, PvP and construct combat. And this is why I think that NDA is still in place for such ambitious single shard MMO game. Developers want to be sure that player experience will be as flawless and lagless as possible. Obviously, as with any new technology, it's really stupid to expect that this will work from day one. And thus I suspect that before devs are sure that they can handle tens of thousands of players, running, mining, crafting, fighting and all of that on same planet at the same time, they will keep NDA. My guess, NDA will be lifted for beta testing stage. That will come somewhere next year, because all pledge packages now have a free beta keys that players can use to invite their friends. Also, servers are not online 24/7 and test sessions at this moment are extended to 96 hours per week. All links about Dual Universe you can find in the description of this video, so make sure you check them out if interested. At the moment there are around 20-30,000 pledged players, and most of them are able to test the game now. But I expect that vast majority of Space Engineer, Empyrean, Minecraft, EVE Online and other similar game players are still waiting to see how this all plays out. Which is smart, mostly on how the combat and all social features will be implemented, and how servers can handle all players interacting with the world and each other. With this in mind, someone will have to pay for this insane amount of servers and continuous single shard cluster, and Noah Quark chose to use monthly subscription based payment method for their game. Which might be very unpopular and maybe even turn away most of you, but in my opinion it is the only way to make a single shard game without annoying the hell out of your players, with all free to play crap. However, there are two very important things to know. First, you will be able to play for free for several weeks, as when game rolls out there will be free trial period and everyone can decide if it is worth investing or no. And second, their subscription system will be similar to EVE Online Plex system. Players will be able to buy dual access coupons, or DACs. That will allow us to play for 30 days. So we will have normal subscription, which will be cheaper, and DACs. DACs can be bought from Noah Quark directly with real money, or in-game market for in-game money from other players. So if any player can earn enough money in-game and there is a player who wants to sell their DAC, You will play for free as long as you have accumulated enough in-game money, and essentially for those players, Dual Universe will be completely free. The prices are not given yet, but should be somewhere around 10 to 18 euros per month depending on which kind of subscription you choose. But obviously DACs are more expensive because you can use them in-game, and you can basically buy in-game money with that and also support other players who have more time but less money. But why do I think subscription is the best option? First of all, like I said, someone has to pay for servers, and you can imagine that servers will be very expensive. So developers need a steady income every month, and not only to develop the game and release expansions, but to pay for servers. There are games that just implement different mechanics to annoy players unless they pay. We all know them, and I call them pay to enjoy, which in reality is really an extortion. And NovaQuark had same option, to go same way and just annoy the hell out of their player base, so we would be forced to pay anyway, or instead of spending time implementing this crap, use their development time to add new game mechanics that actually benefits the game. Also, if there is subscriptions, then developers can't just release the game and pretend that they are blind and deaf. There will be many expansions and all of them will be free, as it makes no sense to split player base in single shard universe, unlike Elite Dangerous with their Horizons. NovaQuark already is committed to keep Dual Universe alive for next decade or so and work closely with their player base to which features implement and which not. In Dual Universe everything is built from voxels, completely editable world. That means that graphics won't be like in Star Citizen or Elite Dangerous, but anything and everything is editable. But Dual Universe takes it to the next level. In Dual Universe smallest voxel size will be 25 cm, but players can manipulate it even further down to make all look even better. Just don't forget that this is a single shard MMO, and looks are really not that important because in the first place it will be a social game. Devs are describing their game as civilization rebuilding game. What's even better, all planets and player-made constructs like ships, cities, bases, space stations are treated equally by the game engine, which means that players can build as big structures as they want, even as big as planets if they are crazy enough to waste years of their life on getting resources to build those monsters. And because there is physics for spaceships, you better make sure that your ship is not too heavy, as that would effectively turn it into a station that never ever can move, and even if it can slowly move, the amount of fuel needed will be insane. And same goes for cargo. If you fill your cargo containers with heavy stuff, well, you might not even take off. In Dual Universe everything that you see will be made by players. Anything you make can be sold to other players, and players can even sell blueprints of their constructs. So if you like to build, you don't have to do anything, just make nice constructs and sell them to other players. There will be industries and mass production, organizations, fully player-driven wars, diplomacy, economy. If you like to code, then there will be a way to use Lua programming language in-game to program, construct, control elements, and obviously those scripts also can be sold to other players for money. Players do not have to code anything, but they can if they want to. So it will be completely open and dynamic economy. Nothing will appear from thin air, and even more if you buy anything from a distant player market, you will have to fly there and pick it up. Obviously with such approach, when all players play together in single shard universe, compromises have to be made. And a lot of them. But anyone who knows a thing or two about current hardware limitations already figured out that thousands of players can't fight like in Elite or Call of Duty, where combat is player reflex or physics based. We will have tab target combat and more specifically lock and fire system. Which basically means that to fire our weapons we will need a target to lock on, and only then we will be able to fire our guns. And most likely it will be implemented the way that it looks like normal first-person shooting games, where we move our reticle over enemy and only then we can fire. So lock and fire will be one action. There will be player versus player, construct versus construct, and player versus construct fights. Just be open-minded and reasonable in your expectations, because we are talking about thousands of players fighting each other. We all know what happens in EVE Online with time dilation, and I'm very curious to see what NovaQuark can achieve with their server technology. It's also interesting what damage models they will come up with, because you know, voxel game, voxels can be destroyed. In single shard games, PvP is big part, and there are many ways to make combat fun and fool players into thinking that combat is actually dynamic. In example, fire projectiles and other effects can be generated client-side only, while server just spits some numbers out behind the scene. Same time, developers already said that they don't plan on making Dual Universe free for all PvP. There will be many places where PvP is not possible at all, for players that just want to be creative and build in 100% safe environment. But if you want to find rare resources and move outside safe zones, explore the universe or build your own space station, then players will have tools to defend themselves. And yeah, players will have to defend their assets outside safe zones. I wouldn't worry too much about PvP, as joining guilds or organizations will pretty much make your life much safer, as we all know. Safety in numbers. But what happens if you die? You lose almost all your inventory. Money is safe, you can't lose money. Dax you can't lose as well, and as far as I know, Sanctuary Territory units you also can't lose. Some items in your inventory will be destroyed and rest will be lootable. Well, this is planned for now, and obviously all is subject to change. Combat, as I said, will come in Alpha 3 testing stage, which is supposed to be somewhere late this year. And when you die, you respawn at closest resurrection pod. I expect that many fights will start by figuring out where are enemy resurrection pods and by destroying them to prevent enemies from re-engaging combat immediately. Player characters have skills which will be improved over time, even if players are offline. Another compromise because of single shard is that your constructs can't break in half and there is no air pressure inside spaceships. It's done because in games like Space Engineers or Empyrean, every time you place or remove a block, game checks all blocks to see if there is a hole or no, thus wasting a lot of resources, which single shard game just doesn't have. By doing that, Nova Quark made sure that we should have no issues building a big ship and having hundreds of players on it moving around and doing different stuff, while this ship is actually moving as well. Another compromise is that planets will not orbit the sun. It's done because it takes too much server power to calculate all collisions. So most likely planets will just rotate around their own axis to simulate day-night cycles, but that is still undecided. And there will be other compromises too, but in my opinion playing with all of your friends in a single world at the same time overweights all of them. And because players will have tools to mod the game within the game with Lua scripting, there will be insane things going on and developers only should implement more and more tools for us to do what we want. For starters, developers want us to play together, not spread out. So when we start the game we all will spawn at the same place, inside a safe zone, which is around 20 kilometers in radius. We will be able to fly wherever we want, but it might take weeks or even months in real time to reach other star systems. However, one of the first expansions will include stargates, which will be extremely expensive to build, but with stargates we will be able to expand known universe and still keep players tightly grouped, as stargates will act like bottlenecks. Players can claim territories and give rights to their constructs to anyone they want. That is how you allow friends and guild members to use your assets. And for ones who wonder what happens when a player logs out, there will be a timer, after which player avatar will disappear, but all constructs, ships, bases, stations will stay in game and can be used by other players who have rights or even destroyed if located outside safe zones. Regarding destruction, there will be protection bubbles in PvP zones, and even if that bubble is destroyed, the construct will be indestructible for several real-life days to give defenders time to prepare. There are still many unknowns and questions, but for me it's quite clear. I want to try it out. I want to see thousands of players in same location. Feel free to check out my organization called Space Forgers and join it if you want to play with me. We want to be completely self-sufficient, basically become a corporation that has all resources and assets needed to do whatever is going to happen in game and make new friends, influence universe around us and just have fun. I personally am looking forward to mining, crafting and building, especially running factories, producing, crafting goods and selling to other players. But it's hard to say what actions will be available and how players will move Dual Universe world now. So tell me in comments below, is Dual Universe the space game you were waiting for? Are you interested playing in single shard, continuous, completely editable sci-fi world, even if it will be subscription based? All links regarding the game you can find below this video. Also like, dislike, subscribe, comment, and if you wish to play games with me, then join my Discord channel. All links you can find below this video, and remember, you do not have to buy anything now, just wait for the game to go live and then try it out for free without any risk. But if you are really eager to try it before live release, wait for beta, especially because all pledged players now have a giftable beta keys to give to their friends. So just do it and see you soon.